reading Spring Story Brambly Hedge. So Lord Woodmouse, meanwhile, was working his way down to the stream. The news had travelled ahead of him, and all along the hedge, excited mice leaned out of their windows to ask when the picnic would take place. "I'll see if I can find some reserves," said old Mrs. Eyebright. "Shall we bring tablecloths?" called the weavers who lived in the tangly hawthorn trees. Poppy Eyebright from the dairy promised cheeses, and Dusty Dogwood the miller offered a batch of buns. Mice soon began calling at the store stump to collect clover, flour and honey, bramble brandy and poppy seeds and all the other good things needed for the picnic. Mrs. Crusty Bread baked a huge hazelnut cake with layers of thick cream, and Wilfred's mother decorated it. Mrs. Apple made some of her special primrose puddings. Wilfred knew that there was to be an outing, and that if he behaved he would be allowed to go. He did his best, but with a new whistle, a drum and a pea shooter for his birthday, it wasn't easy. Look at that picture. I mean, just a cottage core. I love it. Reminds me of my grandmother's house. Very Beatrix pottery. When the Toadflax family arrived at the palace, Wilfred was rather disappointed that no one there seemed to know that it was his birthday. Indeed, he had rather hoped for a few more presents, but it would have been rude to drop in, so he hid his feelings as best he could. At a signal for Lord Woodmouse, they all set off with their baskets, hampers and wheelbarrows. Everyone had something to carry. Wilfred was given an enormous basket, so heavy he could hardly lift it. Mr. Apple lent him a wheelbarrow, and his brother and sisters helped him to push it, but still poor Wilfred found it hard to keep up. It was a very long way. Heaving and pulling, wheeling and hauling, the mice made their way round the palace, through the cornfield and up by the stream. Wilfred felt very hot, and he wanted a rest. "Here we are," cried Lord Woodmouse at last. The baskets were put down and opened, and nettle-stem cloths spread out on the mossy grass. In no time at all the food was unpacked. Wilfred was exhausted. He sat on his basket, too tired to open it, his whiskers drooping sadly. Mr. Apple said grace, "For this good food from our green fields may we be very grateful." "I think your knives are in your basket, Wilfred," said Mrs. Apple kindly. "If you get them out, we can cut the pies." Oh, look at that. Just so nostalgical. I love it. It's so good. It's quite sort of Sylvanian families-y as well. Very coachcore. Slowly, Wilfred slipped from his porch and undid the catch. When he lifted the lid, he could hardly believe his eyes. The tiger hamper packed all around the presents, an enormous cake, and on the top written in pink icing was "Happy Birthday, Wilfred." "Happy birthday, dear Wilfred, happy birthday to you," sang the mice. When Wilfred had opened all his presents, Basil said, "Give us a tune," so he bashfully stood up and played Hickory Dickory Dandelion Clock on his new whistle. Mrs. Toadflax nudged him meaningfully when he had finished. Thank you for all my lovely presents," said Wilfred, trying to avoid Mrs. Crusty Bread's eye. She had caught him firing acorns through her kitchen window earlier in the day. "Now for tea," announced Daisy Woodmouse. The mice sat on the grass and Wilfred handed round the cake. The tea was over, the grown-ups snoozed under the bluebells, so young mice played hide-and-seek in the primroses. At last the sun began to sink behind the fat woods, chilly breeze blew over the fields, time to go home. When the moon came up for night, Brambly Hedge was silent and still. Every mouse was fast asleep. There you go. I had to read it quite quickly because I didn't want the video to run out of me, but that's one of the books. Brambly Hedge little books. I think they're really cute. And the reason I like them is obviously the stories are really good, but the pictures, it's the pictures that bring them alive. And they're just like little works of art, and I just love the pictures, and they're really nostalgical, and they have a kind of Sylvanian families vibe, kind of doll's housey vibe, and I just love them. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed your reading. Thank you for watching.